Well, I am happy to be back sitting with this young man right here, Mr. Mike Broomhead, because there is a new political show that's going to be coming here to AZTV 7 starting this weekend, and it is called Before You Vote.
Right.
And Mike, what I like about this is that we're meeting all of the, some of the candidates for the primary.
Right.
That will be decided for our general.
Yeah.
So let's talk very quick before we get into the show. Well, let's get into the show first.
Okay.
What's the show about?
So the idea behind Before You Vote is to get people informed about the candidates. There's a lot of candidates in this primary. These are the gubernatorial candidates, a lot of the Republican candidates, a couple Democrats, and it gives them more of a flavor of what the candidates are, the important issues, what they stand for, and how they want to solve problems. So it's a little bit more of a discussion. We've got Mike Noble from OH Predictive Insights, a pollster, and Mike is going to talk about the data and polling on issues and demographics and some of that data to help people just be informed when it's time to vote.
Yeah, and that's what we want to be informed, because a lot has been out there moving around, different stuff, and people start to listen and not really pay attention. That's why the show is so great to watch.
Well, in a primary, you know, like on the Democrat primary, the candidates largely think the same on the issues. It's the nuances and the little differences that you want to know about before you cast a vote in the Democrat primary.
Yeah.
Republican side, the same way. You've got a lot of candidates that would agree on the issues, but how you solve the problems and deal with the issues, that's where they differ, and that's what we want to do with this show.
Okay. Help me out, because primary in general, and that kind of throws us off too, because we think right now we're actually in the primary, we're voting for our next governor.
So important things in the primaries. There is a Republican and a Democrat primary where the Republicans choose which candidate will represent them in the general. Same with the Democrats. Independent voters have to choose. If you want to vote in the primary, you have to declare. You have to actually go out and say, I want to vote in either one of the primaries. They're not going to send you a ballot unless you do. So if you're an independent voter, you have to make sure you declare which of the primaries you want to vote in, if you want to vote in the primary. But what you're doing is you're choosing your team's candidate to go on the general election that will happen in November. So August primary, general is then in November.
That's it. Okay. And then with the issues, are the issues we voting on too during the primary?
No, not in the primary. The issues will be on the ballot in November. In August, it's just candidates winning races in a primary to represent their party in the general election.
Got it. And also, I know what you want to do. You didn't want to make it, how can I say, you do on the radio, the Broomhead, going after the question stuff. You really want people to get to know the candidates, and that's what you sat down and do.
Candidate interviews for me are different than when I'm interviewing a guest. A candidate interview is I'm going to ask you questions about the issues, and you just tell us where you stand on the issues. I'm not going to debate you on the issues, because it's not my interview. This is really so that our viewers can learn more about where you stand on an issue and decide whether or not you're the candidate for them.
Yeah, and bringing in OH, which is so great, because that is so important, because they know everything that's going on out there, because that's their job. And so getting their insight to what's happening is going to really educate us.
Yeah, so Mike Noble with OH Predictive Insights, that's what he does, and he's so good at it, is they do raw data polling, unbiased polling, just this is what the voters are saying about specific issues, specific candidates, and I think that information is so interesting to me, and he's going to be a part of every one of our shows with a little insight on a different topic each week.
That's awesome. How's it feel to be back in the studio doing this?
It's so much fun. You know, I miss this. I miss doing a lot more TV. It's just a different medium for me. Plus, I get to be a little more unbiased and just interview people on where they stand as opposed to debating them. So it's a lot more fun for me.
All right, make sure you watch it this starting this Sunday, 4:30 here on AZTV 7. It's Before You Vote. And right now we're just going to cover the primary.
Correct.
But this is going to continue on to the general?
Sure. In the primary elections, we're just interviewing the gubernatorial candidates through the primary, through the month of July. But once we get to the general election, we'll be doing Before You Vote with all of the statewide races, all 6 of them, covering those all the way up to the general election.
Man, I'll tell you, Mike, it's going to be great to see.
It'll be fun.
All right, tell them where they can find you during the week.
All right, I'm on KTAR News. That's 92.3 FM. I'm on from 8 to noon. You can listen to me live locally there or on the KTAR News app.
There you go. All right, make sure you catch the show starting this Sunday, 4:30 here on AZTV 7.